Hey everybody, it's Angela Anderson of theartofsuccessforwomen.com, and today I have a really special guest. I can't wait for you to meet her. Before we talk to Sandra, we're going to share what our intention is for this call today. And my intention is to inspire other women, especially those who've spent their lives taking care of your children, parents, and partners, to believe in yourselves and to know that your dreams are valid. That prioritizing yourselves and your commitment to making a difference in this world by living your purpose can only help and empower those closest to you. So welcome, Sandra
Hello.
Pelley, the great Sandini.
Hello. Very pleased to be here.
Me too. I'm just noticing we're wearing the same color.
I know, and I chose it because it's speaking personal truth. That pale blue.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good timing. Good timing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves. There are more than one of you. About yourself.
There really is. There's the me, myself, and I, right? There's always three.
Absolutely.
And that's what I teach. So that's kind of comical that you would say that yourselves.
Perfect. Well, tell us about your business and how you inspire others.
Sure. I'm a spiritual advisor and a healing facilitator. And I truly love helping people find what's in themselves, so that they can enjoy their life more fully and create what they desire. And sometimes it's a very simple step, and sometimes it's a number of simple steps. And my business involves working with the energies and doing physically hands-on healings, or speaking with people literally all over the world via Zoom or Skype, Facebook chat, or even through emails, because the energy is that strong, and just seeing what comes up for them, allowing what they need to, allowing what their soul wants them to deal with truly. And we go from there, and it's absolutely magical what can occur from there. And the response that I get back from the people is just incredible. Well, so that's literally my business in a nutshell.
Since you mentioned that, do you have one short story of inspiration you could share with us about a client?
I'd love to. Yeah, there's this one woman who actually lives in my town, or lived in my town. I believe I've shared this with you personally before, but she was struggling, and she'd been through a very rough divorce, and she was still living in that house, and not enjoying the house as much at all anymore. And I literally went over and did a session with her. And when we go into a session, truly whatever comes up is where the energies go. And it could literally be anything. And for her, it took her back to when she was getting married. And from there, it showed her what the property was that she lived on at that point. And then the next step of that was the next property that she lived on that was just incredible. And when I say property, I mean property. I don't mean a house in a town. I mean, this was property with possibly a quarter acre or an acre or acres. And just that feeling that she was getting, revisiting all these places. And when she was near the end of the session, the question was posed to her, why are you living in this house? And it was like this light bulb came on for her. And seriously, but when the session ended, it was within a month. She had literally purchased a property outside of town a number of hours, and has literally moved and changed her life. And it was like one session, like truly just that one recognition of allowing her soul to come through and say, this is what you want, why aren't you doing this? And her going, oh my gosh, you're right, and doing it.
I love that. And I'm laughing because in a minute we're going to get to a story that's very similar for you, of an experience that you and I had together. So that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you for segueing into that.
Beautifully.
Love that. Okay, so I first met you when you signed up for a challenge very similar to the one that we're running right now. At the time, it was a little bit different, and it was called the Artist's Way at Work Virtual Retreat for Women. And then after that, you joined the class I was running at the time, which was the Career Design Master Class. And now it's got a little bit of a sexier title. It's a longer program. I've amped it up a lot. And now it's called the Soul Sisters Success Academy. The passionate path to live your purpose and make money doing it.
Wow, love that.
Thank you. I feel like it's a little corny, but I'm okay with that because that's what I was given I have to go with what I was given. So otherwise,
right.
you know, things just don't go that well. Okay.
That's right.
So today we're going to have the opportunity to celebrate you and your commitment to creating this phenomenal life and the actions you've taken to get there and how your life looks different now than it did a year ago. So tell us a little bit about where you were in your business before you and I started working together.
Well, the business was almost non-existent. Yes, I had a couple clients coming in here or there online because of doing something called Living in the Energies. I chose to really move forward a lot with that, move my business forward a lot with that. However, the clients that were coming in were all still essentially freebies. So yes, I was out there on a national or international platform. However, the finances weren't coming in as of yet. And the hands-on end of the business had essentially dropped off. And the distance stuff was slowly working its way up. Truly, everything to do with running a business was almost non-existent, though. Like doing stuff like this and lives and that sort of thing was essentially non-existent before I hopped in on the Artist's Way at work. I wasn't at work; it was the Artist's Way. Success for Women, that program that you had run. That was truly, that title is what drew me in, because I had just done the Artist's Way at whatever that first workbook's called.
The first one's the Artist's Way, and then I did the Artist's Way at work. So you had
right.
done the Artist's Way, yeah.
Yeah, and I had done that at the beginning of January for the first 3 months, and that was quite life-changing. And it got me prepared for your masterclass, because I was so ready for doing that one at that point.
Absolutely. So it sounds like where you were starting was that you had some clients, but really you weren't in the value of that, meaning you weren't standing in your value, and you were doing a lot of work for people, but nobody's paying you for it. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit more about where you are now with your business.
Now, wow. Now I actually have a Zoom set up. I have clients, yes, all over the world, but I actually have paying clients coming to me now. People who are doing 2 or 3, 4 sessions with me. People who are becoming. It's almost like a mentor program now is what I've got going, which is, it's nice. It's really nice. And repeat customers are coming in. Acuity, I have my Acuity set up, which is huge. And that's one of the things I wanted to note to anybody listening to this. When you are struggling through setting up these different things, just use them to the best of your ability until you can actually figure out how to use them. Because I have literally gone from Acuity, I started in, I believe, October with some help. Thank you. And it wasn't literally until 2 weeks ago or a week ago that I actually figured out how to send my calendar. And the whole thing was I was using the wrong screen, setting up my meetings wrong. Right. And I literally reached out to Acuity and attended one of their hands-on sessions. Exactly. So
well, I know you were also, you didn't have a website when we first started working together. You didn't have any of the infrastructure set up around what was going on. You had clients, maybe you would see them once. You didn't have repeat clients very often. I don't remember.
Exactly, I didn't, yeah.
So now you have you get more consistent clients. I know that, so let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you did to get where you are right now. So I did want to come back to, you were mentioning earlier, this session that you had with a client, and I wanted to share, if that was okay, the first session that you and I had together, which was actually the office hours session, where we got to have a conversation around, were we going to be a good fit to work together? Were you interested in my class or not? And the power of that was one of the most powerful sessions. I mean, I say that, okay, yeah, the sessions are always powerful. People get a lot out of them, but that one was huge. And in a minute, I'm going to have you show the evidence of that. But so why don't you share a little bit about that, and then I'll kind of share my experience, if that's okay.
For sure. I really knew that I was capable of becoming so much more, and truly in my heart wanted to be so much more, but really had no direction on how to get there. So when you had that office hour one session, it gave us a chance for me to delve into where I wanted to go with that. And some of the things that came up in there was wanting to have paying clients and needing some direction with that. And I believe you asked me the question along the lines of what is the one thing that keeps popping up for you? And I said something along the lines of a book. I've been meant to write a book, and the more I thought about it, even now, even thinking about it, I've been meant to write a book. Excuse me, ever since I was very, very young. And I actually had made several attempts because I truly thought that the book was about me. And it ended up, I did write a book. Thank you very much, Angela. And I did it in 3 months through the class, the master class with you. I mean, the things that came up because of the master class truly enabled me to have such a sharp focus on what I really wanted to write and what really needed to be written. And what it ended up being was a self-help book. And from my point of view, from the things that I had learned to get to where I was at that moment. And I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about it. And I know I'm feeling the energy of it, of being on Ellen with it, and her passing it out to her entire audience. So that's what I'm feeling the energy of.
We will hold that space for you. And before we move on to that part of it, the next part of it, I wanted to share, if it's okay, what my memory was of that first session.
Sure.
And I have to say that people who have sessions, intuitive sessions, or do them often know that you don't usually remember much of it. That's kind of the function of it in some ways, because you're channeling the information. But I do remember you saying something about a book, and I remember thinking something like, or saying something like, let's figure that out. And then almost instantaneously what came was, I feel like there was something about the title, there was something about the topic, because when we started talking, I remember you saying, well, I think it's supposed to be about this. And then it ended up really kind of being not entirely very different, but you'll show us in a minute, a different experience. And then we got so much information about the book that we got off that call, and literally 2 hours later, you posted in the Facebook group, I've already written the first chapter. Then you joined the class, and 13 weeks later, you had written the entire book. So, drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. So the book was about me, and it was about my journey. And this is it here, a spiritual how-to.
I love it. I love it.
And it's my photography as well. That's a picture I took of the owl. Yeah. So.
Oh wow, that's phenomenal. I have to say, I don't have a copy yet. I've got to get one.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
Oh, well, I do signed copies.
Yes, of course. I will definitely have a signed copy. So tell us a little bit then about some of the stuff that you did to get to where you are now in this experience of having a published book, writing it just super, super quickly, and having your business be in a place that is better suited to feed your soul and your pocketbook. Because I know that there were some challenging things that happened. You had some really serious challenges that happened right after our class started. And you can go into some of that or not, if you leave that up to you. But I'm just wondering, like, what happened for you during the process of the class that enabled you to continue to move forward, even though you had these huge life experiences going on?
I am going to mention the life experiences because they were critical to my life at that time. And essentially what happened was my daughter's best friend committed suicide, and she was the one that discovered him. And less than 20 hours later, my brother-in-law, who's the same age as I, passed away unexpectedly. And Angela's class is your class is literally what held me together. And writing the book as well is what really held me together. And the focus that I was able to put on and the stuff that I learned because of all the things that were going on around me was phenomenal. The realization of how capable I was of seeing stuff that was going on around me and how to help other people through what they were going through because of the traumatic events that had just occurred in my life, was phenomenal. And that, it was almost like an activation or a jump start or a kick start, really, that pushed me even further into who I truly am. And I really realized I needed to have a stage presence in a bigger sense. So yes, working on that web page was huge. And the people that were in the masterclass were phenomenal. There was 3 other women besides myself, and the feedback coming from them was very helpful, as well as some very important guidance to help me into areas, and also them reaching out to me and prompting me, and that really had the wheels rolling as well for getting stuff set up, like the Zoom and the Acuity, the calendar, doing the calendar properly. And I'm not sure what else you want to hear from that.
Well, no, I mean, you're talking about, so since you're mentioning this, these other phenomenal women who were in there, I felt like everybody was, one of the things that I absolutely love about what I do is creating community. And because as women, especially and if you're an entrepreneur, so many of us, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, so many of us work behind our computers. We don't get that kind of love and nurturing and just genuine acceptance that we need. And I feel like in that class and in the online classes I've done, in the workshops I've done, in person, that's something that really feeds my soul, is being able to offer that kind of community for other women. So talk a little, because I know that you've developed some friendships from that experience. You can talk a little bit about that part of the tribe.
Well, it was really interesting because the partner I got ended up being a world away across oceans, and she's absolutely phenomenal. I'll mention her first name is Helen. And truly, that morning when that first event occurred for me, I literally, she was online, and I literally reached out to her, and she helped me through there. And she was the person who said, you need to document what you're feeling in your morning pages. And wow, I mean, I had already been doing morning pages for, I guess it would be 9 months at that point, just over 9 months. But that moment was one of those defining moments. And morning pages are so critical. That is one of the things as well that you really promote too, Angela, is how important morning pages are. And asking questions through the morning pages, finding answers, can be with regards to anything and anybody, and it's really remarkable. The sisterhood of the 4 of us was really interesting, and we really, every week when we got together, it was just a beautiful gathering of like-minded souls, and just the connections that we have, and we still are connected for the most part with most of those women, and that's a relationship that's going to last forever. Truly.
And is it okay if I share, you sent me a picture recently?
Yes. Yes, I did.
About that.
Yeah, I actually made a trip to the UK and met Helen in person, and that was wonderful. It was truly, it was a heartwarming moment to actually be able to hold her in my arms and her to hold me in her arms. It was, we had such a connection online, and to actually be able to do that soul to soul, heart to heart hug was very rewarding.
Beautiful. Thank you. I was so thrilled when you sent me that picture. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
So when we were in the class, we focused on 3 different things. We did one personal, one professional, and one spiritual goal. And so I don't know how much you remember about those different things that we were working on at the time, but do you have a sense of what changed for you when you started prioritizing those things in your life?
Yeah, what happened was things started to happen, truly. When I put down on paper or on the computer or what have you, when I started to actually put something down in writing, then things started to occur, because then it wasn't just this little idea floating around in space in my head. It became concrete. And one of the things that I remember writing down was that I wanted to have paying clients, and that actually has occurred now. So I'm going to start to do that a little bit more frequently, I think, is write down specifics and asking for specifics. The spiritual end of things, that again, I'll allude to that, because that keeping that connection open is what helped to move me forward as well. And that connection, I mean, it was as simple as recognizing that whatever I was speaking about, if I saw something like an animal or a bug or a bird, that I would look up the symbolism of that to see what it meant to me at that moment, because it was very important, and my guides were talking to me through that. The personal end of it was, I do recall actually, was the mountain biking and the exercising and staying, having that part of my life be part of my life still, and not getting so focused on other things going on in my life. And I do actually remember a very important phone call or session that we had towards the end of the class, which was huge, and it was about me pushing my fat bike up a mountain. And by the time I got to the...
Tell us what a fat bike is.
Okay. A fat bike is a winter bike, so the tires are actually very, very wide versus a regular mountain bike. So I was pushing this fat bike up a mountain, and by the time I got to the top of the mountain, that image had actually changed to me being on a horse, and life becoming so much easier. And it was so inspirational. I actually went out and purchased a cover for my phone with a horse on it. And I see myself a lot more differently because of that session with you, and how fluid life can be once we change the image of ourself in that image of ourself in our life. And that's critical.
Ebb and flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. So what's a brag or a celebration that you want to share with us? Like one from when you were in the class, something that came for you, and then since then, because it's been maybe 6 months or so. I don't remember exactly when we ended the class, it's been about, it was in the fall we started in the fall, ended in the winter.
Yeah, I think it's been about 9 months now. Okay. Truly the biggest brag is the spiritual how-to book. That is truly the biggest one. Having nothing like putting me on the spot. You know what? I'd like to say too that the trip to Scotland and the UK is a big brag, because that was put out there by seeing myself actually doing that, feeling myself doing that. So that's a big brag. And actually having clients, paying clients, repeat customers is huge right now. And figuring out all the stuff that I did with the business end of it was huge, was really huge.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So something you said a minute ago made me want to come back to, you were talking about writing things down on paper, and that's a big component of the class that probably you guys got frustrated with me about over time. Was every week we would set goals and we would revisit them, right? And then, so what I say is support, structure, and spirit. So having the support of a group of people working toward their goals at the same time that you are, having the structure of what you're actually going to do what you're doing every day. And that's something that you get to decide. But once you write it down, then we hold you accountable for it. And then the spiritual aspect that you're talking about, like for instance, one of the ways that we do it is through morning pages and listening to your intuition and asking bigger questions. So thank you for bringing that up, because I think that the structure is a big part of it. And a lot of people don't have that, even just writing down what they need to be doing. And once you do that, once you commit to paper, whether you have a group that you're working with or not, once you get it down there, much more likely to happen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Those morning pages are huge. There was something else too I just thought of, but I can't remember what it is now. Thanks.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So what's your advice to other women who may be struggling to put themselves first and make a commitment to support their vision?
You know what? The first, and I think the most important thing that you can do is love yourself. And there's 4 sentences that I teach people all the time, and they're sentences that everybody probably has heard, but it's how you say them, right? So essentially those 4 sentences are: I am love, I am loved, I am loving, and I love me. And if you take a breath between each one of those, it changes those sentences entirely.
Let's do it.
Please. Okay.
Please,
so
you do it for me.
Close your eyes. I am love. I am loved. I am loving. I love me. Hmm. And that just brings you into such a beautiful heart space. And I think the other most important thing that you can do is the morning pages. I truly do. And writing, one of the first lines that you write is, "It's a beautiful day." Because when you make that statement, it changes how everything appears to you in the day. Events will still occur, be them stressful or tragic or happy, whatever, those events are still going to occur. However, by setting your day with the statement, "I am beautiful," it totally changes how those events affect you. And that's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your business and the benefits that you offer people in your experience, and then tell us how people can reach you.
That's so funny. As soon as you started talking about that, my whole body started shaking. I love what I do. I truly, you know what? I really don't even know where to start, because the business is such an intricate part of my life, and it's who I am, and it's a life choice. It's a lifestyle, and I want everybody to be happy, peaceful, calm, and loving to themselves first, and then to others. And what my business does is it helps with very simple steps, how teaches you how to first of all care about yourself, how to discover yourself within yourself. And as you awaken to who you are and start to speak your personal truth to yourself, your soul allows events to emerge that have happened in your past life, or in your past, not, yes, past lives as well, but and I guess I should highlight that I do past life stuff as well, but truly, I'm at a loss for words.
That's okay. All right. So tell us how we can find your book.
Okay, my book is on all the Amazons.
Hold it up.
I'll hold it up again for sure. Yes. So it's on all the Amazons. I
Sandra
am
Pelley,
also.
A Spiritual How-To.
Thank you. It's also got little pictures that I've drawn inside it. Oh, and there's another one there. Little pictures that I've drawn inside of it there. But it's available on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's also available. It's going to be available on my website, my web page, and I am also doing it on an audio version for people who are sight impaired, because of my aunt who is sight impaired, and she's the one who spurred me to do that. And I thought it would be beautiful to do that, and especially in my own voice, because I've often heard from my clients that they just love the sound of my voice when we do meditations and that. So that is part of the work that I do, is when I do work with clients, we go into a meditative state, and all these incredible things occur during that meditation, and it's healing on so many different levels, like the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level is what occurs.
Beautiful. And if people want to find you, how would they contact you?
They can contact me via my Facebook page. I have a public one that is actually on the inside of my book. I've got the thing. It's the Sandini, Sandra Pelley. And also I have a public page that's my personal page. You can send me a message through either. And I have my business web page, which is the Sandini, Sandra Pelley as well. So that's the way to find me.
Okay, that sounds great. So, and email or no?
Yeah, sure. Email me at thesandini@gmail.com.
So spell Sandini for us.
Sure, it's spelled the, obviously. And it's just one word, so the Sandini. So it's TheSandini@gmail.com.
Great. So hang on, we're not done yet. But if anybody is interested in reaching out to me to have a conversation, I will gift you not just a little mini session, but a free session, an intuitive coaching session where you get to ask me anything you want to know. Sorry, anything you want to know. past, present, or future, and also see if we're a good fit to work together in the upcoming class that I'm starting soon, the Soul Sisters Success Academy. That's hard to say. And the way that you can reach me is you can email me at angela@angelafanderson.com. That's Angela F as in Faith, Anderson.com. You can call me 859-200-1704. I don't bite. Leave a message. I'll call you back. And I will put a link below to my schedule. I have a couple of sessions open this week if you are interested in having that conversation. So thank you guys so much. Sandra, it's been such a lovely, lovely opportunity to see you. Thank you for that lovely little interlude in there to help us all feel more loved. I hope everybody takes that into their hearts, and that we have inspired you to prioritize yourself and show up for yourself and love yourself. All right. We'll see you guys next time.